Welcome to In Focus on UATV. Today we look at a regime backed into a corner. Desperate for survival, Vladimir Putin is begging rogue dictators for weapons and provoking NATO at its very doorstep. But Europe isn't flinching. It's locking down its borders and gearing up for a decisive response. Today, Moscow's strategic failure and the free world's growing strength. Moscow's reckless provocations in Europe are backfiring completely. Russian missiles crossing into NATO territory haven't intimidated the alliance. They've only forced Europe to pull off the gloves. From F-16 intercepts to nuclear deterrence, NATO is demonstrating absolute readiness. Here is the full report.
On the night of July 30th, the wreckage of a Russian Kh-101 cruise missile, capable of carrying a nuclear warhead, was discovered in Poland's Lublin Voivodeship. Polish investigators confirmed that the missile was Russian-made and had been manufactured this year. According to the Institute for the Study of War, this marks the first time a Russian missile has landed on the territory of a NATO member state. Previously, only Russian drones had violated alliance airspace, and on July 31st, Polish F-16 fighter jets intercepted a Russian reconnaissance aircraft over the Baltic Sea.
Before noon, a pair of our F-16 fighter jets intercepted a Russian Il-20 reconnaissance aircraft approximately 40 kilometers north of Kołobrzeg. Once again, the aircraft was flying in international airspace without a flight plan and with its transponder switched off. Polish airspace was not violated. Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, Polish Minister of National Defense on X social media.
As Russia's hybrid activities intensify, European countries continue strengthening their security. Italy has taken over NATO's Baltic air policing mission from France and Romania. According to LRT, a new air defense contingent has arrived at Lithuania's Šiauliai air base, including around 200 personnel and 4 Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets. Air surveillance has also been reinforced. After 3 days of patrols over the Gulf of Riga, a NATO AWACS airborne early warning aircraft landed for the first time at Latvia's Lielvārda air base. The visit is aimed at improving coordination and cooperation among allies in response to growing security threats posed by Russia.
So we're able to provide real-time, real-picture intel to the ground command and control, which just keeps us resilient and makes sure that we can maintain the sky and the ground and keep our people safe.
Beyond direct military provocations, the Baltic states continue facing growing hybrid pressure. Earlier, Latvia urged its citizens to avoid travel to Belarus or return home if already there. The country has now closed its border with Belarus, with the Interior Ministry citing increased migration pressure and security risks linked to Belarus.
The Latvia-Belarus border has been closed due to technical reasons. Those who have not yet returned to Latvia are advised to use alternative routes. Janis Dombava, Minister of the Interior of Latvia, on X's social media.
According to the Moscow Times, Estonia has also offered additional support by deploying more border guards and police officers to help protect the European Union's external border against illegal migration. Last year alone, Latvia's border guard prevented more than 12,000 illegal border crossing attempts, more than twice as many as the year before.
Previously, they were simply observing. Now fighter jets are being scrambled, air defense systems are being placed on alert, and other measures are being activated to counter potential threats. I believe this demonstrates that Europe is no longer willing to tolerate what I would call hybrid attacks.
Security analysts say the Baltic states remain among the most vulnerable to Russian hybrid operations. A key reason is the Suwałki Gap, widely regarded as one of NATO's most strategically sensitive areas along its eastern flank. That is one of the main reasons why the alliance continues to reinforce its military presence in the region. According to the German news agency DPA, in the event of further escalation, the United States could deploy non-strategic nuclear weapons to Poland, Finland, and Lithuania.
We must ensure that no one.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism, and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Can launch a nuclear strike against us without facing a response. Mark Rutte, NATO Secretary General, according to the DPA news agency.
Lithuanian President Gitanas Nausėda has already stated that Vilnius is prepared to join NATO's nuclear deterrence framework. European intelligence services are also adapting to the changing security environment. According to Ukraine's Foreign Intelligence Service, Sweden's parliament is expected to consider creating an independent foreign intelligence agency, separate from the armed forces, on August 13th. Similar initiatives are reportedly under discussion in the Netherlands and Germany. As Europe confronts an increasingly complex security environment, it is strengthening both its deterrence capabilities capabilities and its intelligence architecture, reducing reliance on external sources of information. Reported by Dmytro Shulha, UATV News.
While NATO hardens its eastern flank, Putin's military weakness has forced him to lean on another global outcast, North Korea. Unable to sustain his war machine alone, the Russian dictator is relying on Pyongyang's ballistic missiles to target Ukrainian cities. But this coalition of weakness only proves one thing: Moscow cannot win on its own merits.
During the night of July 30th, residents of Radushne near Kryvyi Rih dug through the rubble with their bare hands after a Russian missile strike. Footage from police body cameras shows local residents working alongside emergency responders to search for survivors trapped beneath the debris.
Call them and tell them to shut off the gas. Where's your leg? Can you tell? We can see it now. Don't move. Don't move.
The Voronovs, a large family with many children, are trapped under the ruins of their home. According to the district military administration, 2 adults and 8 children were believed to have been inside at the time of the strike. Authorities have so far confirmed the deaths of 5 family members, 2 adults and 3 children. Search and identification efforts are still ongoing. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the family was killed by a North Korean ballistic missile supplied to Russia.
In Radushne, Russia used a North Korean missile for the first time in quite some time. These are preliminary findings, and forensic examinations are still underway, but all available evidence indicates it was a North Korean ballistic missile. This alliance between Moscow's criminals and North Korea's reckless regime exists for the sake of missiles, for the deployment of North Korean troops here in Europe, near our borders, and for the killing of Ukrainian children.
Reuters, citing 2 sources, reports that Ukrainian radar systems detected signatures consistent with the use of KN-23 or KN-24 ballistic missiles, the same types North Korea has supplied to Russia. According to the agency, these missiles were last used in attacks on Ukraine in 2023. The Institute for the Study of War says this is not an isolated incident, but part of an evolving Kremlin strategy.
North Korea's continued supply of additional missiles supports Russia's efforts to shift away from relying primarily on large-scale drone attacks and instead place greater emphasis on massive missile strikes, exploiting Ukraine's current shortage of air defense systems capable of intercepting ballistic missiles, from the Institute for the Study of War report.
Analysts also point out that by supplying ballistic missiles to Russia, North Korea gains a valuable opportunity to test its weapons under real combat conditions. The data collected could help Pyongyang further improve its missile technology. At the same time, Ukrainian experts warn that the renewed use of North Korean missiles may signal the beginning of another wave of large-scale missile attacks.
The attacks are now virtually constant. Unfortunately, this indicates that Russia's war has entered a new phase marked by more intensive and larger-scale strikes against Ukraine's civilian cities.
Reuters also reports that last week, Russian leader Vladimir Putin hosted North Korean Foreign Minister Choe Son-hui in the Kremlin and thanked her for Pyongyang's military assistance. Under the bilateral defense agreement, North Korea has already sent at least 14,000 troops to Russia, with some participating in combat operations in Russia's Kursk region. Earlier, President Zelensky warned that Pyongyang could eventually deploy up to 30,000 additional troops.
Ukrainian intelligence reports that the Kremlin is preparing for a significant wave of compulsory reserve mobilization in the autumn of 2026. Since June, Russia has also been expanding military facilities in the Voronezh region to accommodate an additional 30,000 North Korean troops and receive further deliveries of North Korean ballistic missiles, from a report published by LSM.
Analysts say Russia often intensifies ballistic missile attacks, including those using North Korean missiles, during periods of high-level diplomatic engagement between Ukraine and its international partners.
Russia consistently escalates attacks on Ukrainian cities during the Ukrainian president's international visits and whenever pressure from the United States and Europe increases to push Moscow toward negotiations. In response, Russia resorts to its familiar tactic of terrorizing the civilian population.
According to Reuters, this does not appear to be a one-time shipment. Moscow has likely received a new batch of North Korean ballistic missiles and is preparing to use them more frequently. For Ukraine, that means additional pressure on its already limited stock of Patriot interceptor missiles, and a Kremlin strategy built on the assumption that defending against sustained ballistic missile attacks will become increasingly difficult. Reported by Dmytro Shulha, UATV News.
Tyrants only unite when they are losing. Ukraine continues to stand as an unbreakable wall, defending not just our land, but the security of the entire Western world. Stay ahead of global events. Subscribe to UATV, hit the notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching In Focus. Stay strong and stay informed.